Welcome everyone to Discover Adept Batch Printing and Publishing with PublishWave. My name is Russell Reese. I'll be your presenter for today. Just as note, all phones have been muted. We have many people on the line today. So if you have questions during today's webcast, there's a questions facility in the GoToMeeting window. So in the GoToMeeting window, type in any questions you have. The presentation should be about 30 minutes, and then at the end we'll be going through those questions and answering anything you might have. So with that said, let's get started. So we are excited to share Adept PublishWave with you today, and PublishWave provides a complete printing and publishing solution as well as other valuable features that were designed based on customers' needs. Our goal today is to help you understand what PublishWave can do for your organization and share with you the major features and capabilities of PublishWave. So what is PublishWave? PublishWave is a simple, powerful product working with Adept that can bring significant productivity gains to your organization. PublishWave enables single or batch mode printing and publishing of CAD and Office files directly from Adept in automated or on-demand modes. And there are many benefits of PublishWave. Here are just a few. Adept PublishWave is well suited for organizations that require automated printing and publishing based on workflow. So think of this as when you're finally approving a document in a workflow or you sign it in. That can be automated to print or publish your documents at that trigger. PublishWave uses the native applications to publish your documents, which means you receive the highest fidelity output without having the user open the files in its native application. And as you'll see, they do not even need CAD or Office products on their PC to publish documents through PublishWave. So that's a real advantage for our customers. It also ensures consistent output. You control the configurations for each application used in publishing, so you control line weights and colors and scales and extents and all those things, so you get consistent output for your users. And as a result, you can automatically publish documents to a network folder, sign them back into Adept, or even use PublishWave to populate ERP, MRP, or other systems such as SharePoint. So there's a lot of features and functions we'll go through today to show you how to do that and how our customers are using PublishWave. So before I get into the live demonstration, I do want to review really the architecture of PublishWave and how it works. When I go through the live demonstration, you're going to understand better what's actually happening when I say it's publishing a document or you're submitting a job request for publishing documents. So this is the slide that describes that to you. On the left should be pretty familiar, right? So this is your current Adept environment. You have your Adept server involved. You have your different desktop clients that your users are using to access and search and find your documents. PublishWave introduces a third component called the PublishWave Server Workstation. It is a workstation class machine, so it is a Windows 7 64-bit operating system. It needs to be a workstation class because CAD applications also require that. They cannot run on the server, such as 2008 or 12 or whatever they may be. So that's why PublishWave was designed the same way. It also has the native applications installed on that workstation because the native applications, as we stated, are used to generate the output. So it's a really high quality, high fidelity output. So how does it work? When you submit a job or on an event trigger, as you'll see, a job is submitted to an input folder. Think of that as a job queue that PublishWave is waiting for work. When a job is submitted, PublishWave reads that job, what you want to do with those documents, and then you have different options. You may say, I just want to publish my documents to a network folder or a folder representing an FTP site or Dropbox or something like that. So that's a network location. Or you may standardize how you want to print hard copies of your documents. It can all be automated or done on demand. So that's kind of step one. You can take that a little bit further and use Adept's Publish to Adept feature in PublishWave. So when you publish a document to a network folder, a PDF or a TIFF file, you can also say, sign it back into Adept into a specific library where now my users can search and browse and find that right in their Adept applications. The last component that we'll show you today is what we call a watch folder. This can be any folder on your network, one or more folders, where individuals, they do not have to be Adept users, can drag and drop documents into what we call a watch folder. PublishWave monitors that folder. Any documents that come in with any extension type may also be signed in via Publish to Adept into a particular library that you've designated for that watch folder. So those are the general concepts we're going to cover today, the different features. I'll give you examples of those and how our customers are using those today. So just to review, you can publish to a folder on the network or FTP site. If you wish, you can then sign those PDFs or TIFFs back in to Adept, or even use a watch folder to process any document type and sign that into Adept, and that's all automated. So with that, let's get into the first live demonstration of our webcast today using PublishWave. So I'm going to start with the on-demand approach of submitting a job request. It's going to show you the options you have for your jobs that can also be used when you're automating this with different event triggers. So it's a good way to learn the different options. So in Adept, you would search and browse for your different documents. So I can choose Excel, Word, a drawing file. So PublishWave can publish any Word, Excel, or drawing file. So think of AutoCAD, Inventor, SolidWorks, all of your drawings. With PublishWave, you can right-click and print or use the print menu and say, I want to publish these files with PublishWave. The resulting dialog lets you customize that job. So here are the documents that I've selected that I'm going to publish. What do I want to do with those documents? I can choose to publish them to a PDF, so we'll convert them automatically using those native applications. I can decide to make a TIFF from those documents, or I may provide printers that my users have access to defined in PublishWave that says these are the printers you're allowed to use and these are the paper sizes that you're allowed to use on those printers. So again, standardizing your output and what your users are using to create that output. You may also use the default settings for your documents for the rotation, scale, or size, or override that here by selecting them with your job criteria. And then you select what will happen with those published PDFs or TIFFs. You choose the location where they'll be published to, right, a network folder location. So if I can click on here, you can see I have various locations defined. Your PublishWave admins will define one or more network locations. He then gives them the descriptive name. So you just choose from the list that your admin provides. So there's one or more. I'm going to publish to our standard PublishWave output network folder. And maybe that's all I do. I just want the PDFs published to a folder on my PC or on the network, and I'm going to use those in a transmittal or send in an email or whatever I need to do with those documents. Or, as we mentioned, you can take a next step and say, I want to sign these PDFs back into Adept. Put them back into the same library where the original drawing or document was from, in this case our architectural library. Choose another library, and then even describe a relationship between the documents. So I may say, make the PDF a child of the original drawing or document, so that someone finds this drawing in Adept in the relationship browser, they're going to see a child that will point to that PDF of that drawing, so they'll know a PDF exists. These are all options you have. So that's what I'll do today. I'm going to publish these, sign them in, and make them children of the original document. For your CAD documents, you may also describe what sheets or layouts you want to print. Or for AutoCAD, you may define page setups. So a page setup, I have one for each paper size. It may be for jobs and projects you're doing, but you get to create standard setups where you can decide the pen sizes, right, the layouts again, the fit the page, the extent, even run a script in AutoCAD before those documents are published. So that really opens up a lot of creativity on your part to run AutoCAD scripts before it's published as well. So you can create these for your users, again, to standardize your output. And I will pick page size A as my standard output. So this may be all I want to do, right? I'm going to publish and sign them back in. I can post this job. If this is a job that I do frequently, every Monday, for to create these PDFs on demand, I can save this job criteria that I just described and restore that later. So you can do that, make it easy for yourself. And all of these are available in the automated or trigger-based publishing as well that we'll show you next, all these options. I'll show you one last option that is only available on OnDemand, and that's to combine all these documents into a single PDF. So I can say, in post-processing, combine all these documents, Word, Excel, my drawings, all those different document types, into a single PDF. I'll name that PDF of Master 533, that's for my project.pdf, and I'll decide where that master combined PDF will go, just like I did the other files. Well, I'm going to put it in that same folder. I am going to sign it in to my architectural library, make it the parent of the PDFs. I'm sorry, the original documents. So this PDF will be a parent to all the documents that created it. So when people find the PDF, they'll know exactly what documents it contains and what was used to create that PDF. So here's another concept of metadata. This is where it gets interesting and really valuable. For the combined PDF, I can choose the first document's library card to copy metadata to this PDF. So it will copy the metadata from the first document, or even supply my own custom metadata. And for each document that's converted, if we go back to the document options, each of these are also converted to PDF. PublishWave always copies the library card of the original document to the published PDF or TIFF. So when people are searching for these in Adept, they can search by all the normal means, like library cards, file guides, and that library card will be populated with the native document data. Okay? So I'm going to post this job. It's going to do all that work for me. Now, think about what I just did. I'm posting this job. This work is not being done on my PC. I posted it to that PublishWave server workstation. I don't need CAD. I don't need Word or Excel on this PC. It's doing all the work. It's going to publish the documents into the location I specified, and eventually they will be signed in to Adept because I told it to do that. Now, I have my PublishWave server set to do that every minute or so, so this may take a couple minutes to populate these. And while it's working on those documents, let me discuss one more topic of how our customers are using this. Our customers are using this on-demand in automated modes to populate PDF libraries. So think about all of your CAD documents or documents that are kind of locked down. You don't want certain people to have access to maybe even view, or they don't need to view the native documents. But you do give them access to a PDF library where the published PDFs are always kept up to date, the latest version, and they can access all the PDFs. I'm going to come back to this when we talk about the automated mode, how our customers are using that. But that's an example of a PDF library, a subfolder, or any library where you want to publish those PDFs. Okay? So let's go back to our architectural library. You can see it's already signing some of these documents in. Notice it signed in my drawing already in my Word form, so that's good. My Excel form, sorry. But look at the data card. Here's the original drawing. Here's my library card for my PDF. The metadata was copied from the original to, there's my library card, to my library card of metadata. So very helpful for our customers to have that available to them. So that's the on-demand approach. I wanted to present that so you get the options that are available to you. And now that will be much clearer as we move forward to show you the automated mode. And that's what I'll do next. So in automated mode, you have decisions to make on when these PDFs should automatically be created. In this library, I have two documents that are currently under review in a workflow. If I highlight these as a reviewer and go to the Workflow tab, you'll see the CAD manager approved it. It's waiting on one final approval from project manager. When that project manager says, yes, I approve these drawings, they look great, behind the scenes, without them even really knowing, that's sending a job to PublishWave automatically to create PDFs from these drawings. It will place them in a network location for our users and optionally sign them back into a library in Adept. So that may happen on approval, as you saw. It already submitted that job, or it may happen on sign-in. You get to determine the event trigger that will automatically create those PDFs. So here's how that looks. If I give you an example of that, of how our customers are using this and what really happened there. So on final approval of my document, I publish those PDFs. Now, I could do TIFFs, and if it's a document type that we don't convert to PDF, so it's not a drawing or a Word or Excel document, you can optionally also pass through those file types, but they will go to a common folder on the network. So our customers leverage this because they know that the latest document is in the same place with the same name all the time because it's automated for them. That's really valuable because they have people in maintenance and shop floor and project sites that are leveraging those PDFs that are always up to date to do their work every day. One of our customers actually created a little spreadsheet that's on each person's desktop. They don't have Adept. They just go into this worksheet. There's links to the documents in the network. They click on a link. It's always bringing up the latest approved published PDF for that drawing. Very valuable, when you think about maintenance, shop floor, things like that, where you want to make sure they have the right information to do their work. Also, they may put a link to a folder. So this is a folder on the network that has those published PDFs. So you can see, you can take this in any direction and rely on the fact that the latest document is in the same place with the same name. So think about this now from another point of view. Our customers are also using this because it's approving those they're approving documents and they're published in the same place to integrate with ERP, MRP, and other business systems. So you may have noticed now an additional graphic on this slide that says metadata, information, and data. Not only can PublishWave publish documents to a folder, but if you wish, it can include a file of metadata in XML or text format that's associated with that document. So all that great data that you have in Adept will automatically accompany your published documents. Now, publishing to an ERP system with that data or documents may be straightforward. You may say, I just want to update the documents that my business system links to or uses. So I'm publishing them with PublishWave. It's going to the folder where they live in my ERP or business system. Some of our customers have actually taken that a little bit further. A great example of that is one of our customers, Ken Losi at Matrix Services, who has used PublishWave to publish approved documents to SharePoint. So Matrix Services provide complete engineering services to industries such as oil, gas, chemical, mining and minerals, power storage, and even industrial projects. At Matrix, PublishWave delivers documents and metadata to a shared folder, as you see here. Then, using SharePoint APIs and scripting and a consistent naming convention, they have automated the process of taking the PublishWave output and placing the documents in their correct location based on the job number. In addition, they use the accompanying metadata supplied by PublishWave via XML to update SharePoint's headers about their documents. So now when people find documents in SharePoint, they're also seeing the header of metadata that's supplied with that document automatically. So that's an integration that Ken has done at Matrix. They have the talent in-house to do all that, how they wanted to implement it. Not all shops have that technology or talent available to them. That is also a service that Adept provides. So if you want us to help you with publishing to your other business systems with PublishWave or Adept, we also help and have helped many, many, many customers do that. So those are some examples of how customers are leveraging the automated final approval or sign-in of documents with PublishWave. So I have one more demonstration for you today, some scenarios to go through that involve watch folders. So if you remember what watch folders are, they are folders on your network, one or more folders, where any user that has access to those folders can drag and drop documents. Those folders are correlated to a library in Adept. So when documents arrive in those watch folders, again, any document type, they're published through PublishWave and the Publish to Adept feature and signed back into Adept. So think about different job or project folders or just shared folders on your network where non-Adept users can drag and drop files. So how would that look from the Adept point of view when files arrive from those different watch folders? Let's take a look at that in depth. Actually, I have to let me minimize this for you here. And I need to get my desktop for us so you can see my folders in the background. There we go. So this is an exercise of using watch folders. So as you'll see, I have different links to network locations on my desktop. This is watched folder customer 345. I also have a library in Adept called customer 345. Now I named them the same on the network and in Adept because I wanted to show you the correlation of where they should go when I add documents here. They don't have to match. So you can have one or more watched folders that map to a library in Adept. So I have 4 of them in this situation and many more behind the scenes. So I have some documents here that I'm going to drag and drop from my incoming folder. Again, this could be a Dropbox location, upload from FTP to a folder, right? So I've dragged and dropped them into this watch folder. And I have my watch folder monitored every minute or so, so you'll see these eventually start to disappear as they get processed. But what happens when a watch folder is processed is that the documents are treated as if someone signed them in right from their work area in the Adept desktop client. So extraction of data occurs. Relationships are extracted. You can see they're starting to go now. Relationships are extracted. And as you can see, I'll close this and go to my customer. These were signed in to a library that had an approval process. So what customers are doing is people are dropping in documents. They're going into the libraries, and it's kicking off a workflow. And that workflow is sending an email notification. So if I look at this, this workflow is sending an email notification that says, hey, documents have arrived in this library to the appropriate people. They can review them. If the documents are correct, they can approve them so they're released for others to view or use, or even move them to another library. So, you think of that watch folder as really a virtual, sign-in of Adept and all those benefits that come with signing a document in, like workflow and publishing and things like that. Okay? So that's a watch folder, and that was a demonstration of a watched folder. So we have one more topic today, one more topic. I'm going to go back to my PowerPoint, get back to our location here. Okay. So now that we've gone through 3 scenarios of on-demand, final approval and watch folders, there's one more feature of PublishWave that was released this year that it has been really beneficial to some of our customers. It's called Data Bridge. Data Bridge is used to guarantee published files are correctly and successfully passed to remote locations or even another Adept server environment installation. So our customers vary widely in many different industries, and more often than not, we found they had challenges getting published files to remote locations and job sites due to slow and or unreliable network connections. So in response to that, we developed Data Bridge. So when using PublishWave with Data Bridge, it ensures the files are delivered successfully with integrity, and it tracks that and even has the ability to pick up where it left off if a connection was broken and is resumed or sluggish. So it monitors that, picks up file transmission where it left off. So if you're transferring a large document, and your connection gets lost or there's a slowdown and you have a little hiccup, it will just pick up where it left off. It doesn't have to start over. So here are some real examples of where that is used. A lot of our customers have offshore rigs and vessels that it's very, very important to them to get the right documents published to that location for construction and maintenance and things like that. And they had real problems with the data connection between those sites. It was a little flaky, to say the least. Even to the point where they would have a phone call over the same line, and just that use of the line for a phone call, which is a higher priority, would cause a hiccup or the line to terminate briefly. So they use Data Bridge to consistently transfer successfully to those rigs and offshore vessels. So that's one implementation that Data Bridge has become very valuable to those sites. And think of it even more from a local use. If you have remote sites around the U.S. or abroad, different countries, Data Bridge can also be used with the Publish to Adept feature. So in this example, they may have, they're publishing documents using Data Bridge over a connection that, may be sluggish or prone to failure once in a while. They're publishing to this location so people can see those documents, but they've also used Publish to Adept to sign those documents into a local Adept server installation. So now they're transferring from one location to the other, and now their Adept users have the benefit of searching and browsing in their own Adept implementation. So those are just thoughts on how DataBridge can be used in different ways, again, in those situations that's critical for network connectivity and lack thereof, I guess is a better way to put it. So that was the final example I had today. That wraps up our presentation for today.